Debt-Free in 30, where every week we take 30 minutes and get practical advice from industry experts about personal finance and living debt-free. Here's your host, Doug Hoyes.
The busiest time of year for licensed insolvency trustees like me and my team at Hoyes Michaelis is at the start of the year. Our 310 Plan helpline phones will start to ring when we're back to work on January 2nd, and the volume of calls we get continues to increase throughout January and February as the credit card statements with all of the holiday spending on them start to roll in. Our busiest month every year is usually March, when we've got the peak of the holiday season debt bills coming due, and people are also starting to worry about their taxes that are due in April. So why do we get into trouble every December? What can we do about it? That was one of the questions we discussed back on show number 68, and I want to replay a portion of that interview for you today because what we discussed on that show is even more relevant and important today. My guest on that show was Heather Cudmore, who at the time was the head of credit counseling with Horizon Family Services in Kitchener. That was 2 years ago. Today, Heather has relocated to London and is now part of the Hoyes Michaelis team helping people in the London area. Over the years, Heather has met with hundreds of people, and in many cases, they got into debt trouble in December because they were trying to create the perfect holiday season. Times are tough. Perhaps you or someone in your family has suffered through a medical issue or perhaps a job loss or a separation or divorce, and so the holiday season becomes an opportunity to put your troubles behind you. Of course, if that can only be done with debt, that's a problem. Now, we all know that there is no such thing as a perfect Christmas, so why do we strive for it? That was the first question I asked Heather Cudmore, so let's get started with her answer to the question, why do we strive for the perfect Christmas?
I really don't know why we strive for that perfect Christmas because I don't think there is a perfect Christmas. I think we've all got our imagination set saying this is what we want, this is what it is. And I think we try to put ourselves in such a box that we don't think outside the box, that we keep doing the same traditions, everything that we've done before. And the amount of stress that we put on ourselves to do that, really, really a challenge. Think outside the box. And I think by thinking outside the box, you think of better ways to spend your money, to get more happiness.
And is it because we think back to the past? I guess Christmas or the holiday season in general is something that comes around every year. And so every year you've been alive, you've celebrated Christmas or whatever your traditions are. And as a result, well, I want this year to be better than ever, or I want it to be just as good as that one I had when I was 8.
Better than ever. And you keep building it up and it's got to be more and it's got to be more and it's got to be more. So, or actually the flip side, maybe I didn't have the best Christmas. And what I try to provide for my kids is something way out of bounds that, is just not normal for the average family. Set those new traditions. Start back at, what traditions you want, what things you want to do. And I think that way, you lessen the stress. And I think, you can then turn around and stop spending all the money. Stop spending all that money on one day.
I think that's an excellent point. You said set your traditions. So rather than saying, I've always done it this way, why not actually this year, with your family, with your friends, whoever you're going to be with over the holiday season, actually make a plan. What is it we want to do? And it doesn't mean we have to have the most expensive gifts, the biggest meal. Maybe our tradition is we're going to go out for a hike in the snow.
Yep.
Maybe it's going to be we're going to, watch a specific movie. Maybe, whatever it is. You can actually decide what your traditions are going to be. You don't have to do what you've always done or what you think everyone else expects you to do.
I will second that. I don't think Christmas should be about spending money. I think it should be about family, friends, and fun. And, if you can set your traditions around those things, you can have a really, really great day. And, flip side, not spend a whole lot of money.
Family, friends, and fun. So if you keep that in mind, I notice you didn't say money. You didn't say gifts. You didn't say how much money can I spend on gifts. Family, friends, and fun. So, well, let's kind of break it down then, because when we think of Christmas, and I'm sure if, the listeners are listening out there right now, let's play a word association game. What are the things that pop into your mind when you think of the holiday season? And I suspect a lot of people, one of the things that pops into their mind is food, because we think of the big meals. Okay, so food is an area where I think we spend money that we don't even realize we're spending. We understand spending money on gifts because I go to the store and I actually buy the gifts and I can look at my credit card statement after to see that. But food is probably something we don't consciously realize we're spending money on, and we probably have no idea what we actually spent.
And actually, I can top that off. There's been studies done that the average person throws out half the food in their fridge. And I just kind of cringe at that. So, shop for what you need. You said get a plan together. What am I doing? And just shop for what you need. You don't have to shop for, the 50 people that perfect Christmas. I like the idea of a potluck. Where everybody brings something. You never leave potlucks unhappy. You always have so much food and full. You're happy and full is how you're going to be leaving all those potlucks. So everybody brings something. And, it's one big, like communal. Back again, that family and friends. Because, my family and friends, it's getting together, it's gossiping, it's catching up, it's causing problems, it's teasing. That's what Christmas is. There is probably food in our family also. Again, smart choices with that. Is there one person that just does the meal? No, it will be a group of people. And even preparing the meal, everybody all together, that's part of the family, friends, and fun.
And so it takes a little bit of planning. Okay, what are we going to have? Let's decide who's bringing what. But hey, we got email now. We got Facebook. We can certainly arrange all that. And that's really what you're suggesting then, right? Let's decide what we're having. Everybody decide what they can bring. And that keeps the cost down, but it also makes it more fun then. And so preparing the food should be just as much fun as eating it, I guess.
Actually, even let me go back. Do you have to do a whole meal? How about just a dessert meal? Let's just do a potluck, all desserts.
Boy, that'd be kind of fun actually when you think about it. Get the kids all wired, so that'd be even more awesome.
And then you send them out tobogganing or skating, you know. And there's a great new tradition: eat too much sugar and go try to wear it all off. Yeah.
Well, and again, that's what you're saying. It's coming up with different things that we haven't done in the past. So, do you have any other thoughts on food then that we haven't touched on? The main thing, I guess, you're saying is make a plan and don't just do whatever you've always done.
Think outside that box.
Think outside the box. So food is one thing. Now you kind of touched on the whole idea of entertainment. What do you do during the holiday season? So you talked about tobogganing. Those are fun things to do. What other thoughts do you have then on entertainment, how we spend money on that, and how we could perhaps do a better job?
Well, all right. Let's go back to the food. Maybe for part of your new Christmas tradition, you go work at a food bank. You help serve a meal for a soup kitchen. Again, giving back to the community instead of only looking inward. Can you look out to yourself, to the community, and, be a part of it? So, maybe even serving food to someone else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's kind of brings the whole holiday season into picture then when you do that. So okay, not only just feeding yourself, but looking towards others is a very important element to that. What are your thoughts then on what we should do when we all get together then? From an entertainment point of view, what are things that we can do that aren't horrifically expensive but are lots of fun?
You started off the top about watching a movie. There is always one Christmas movie that everybody gets together and you sing all the way through. Maybe it'll be a kids movie this year. Maybe there are a whole bunch of kids involved, and maybe it's a kids movie that you end up watching.
Well, I know every year my father and one of my sisters watches Home Alone. And they've watched, and I don't know if that's a Christmas movie or not. I guess there's some elements
It happens around
to it.
Christmas.
It happens around Christmas, but but it's not a traditional Christmas movie, obviously, but they've watched that movie. They've got the DVD of it, and every year, and, she's got kids now, and every year that's the movie they watch, either, Christmas Eve or a couple of days before Christmas or Christmas afternoon or whatever. So that's an example of a tradition that costs nothing once you've already bought the DVD, obviously. And it doesn't have to be necessarily, the Jimmy Stewart Christmas movie. But if you do it every year, it becomes a tradition and costs next to nothing to do it. So
I like the Home Alone movies. I may have to switch
there you
over
go.
to
There you
that
go.
one.
We've started a new tradition, and I guess there's more than one of them, isn't there? So there you go. So there's some new traditions then on that. Now, the biggest cost, I think, of Christmas, we talked about food, we talked about entertainment, but obviously gifts. That's where the money really gets spent on Christmas. So is it as simple as, well, just don't buy anyone gifts? Is that what we're advocating here?
Well, if you want to make that your tradition, maybe you do that. Maybe it's not a gift for everyone. Or maybe there is no gifts. Maybe again, the gift is my presence. Showing up at your place and having fun. If you absolutely have to, you're not going to give up that tradition, do your research. Make a list, check it twice. That really applies to gift giving too. Who are you going to be buying for? Do you buy for the whole family, or do you turn around and only buy for kids? If you are looking at the whole family, do you draw names? Again, just time and effort going out to a shopping mall or shopping at the busiest time of the year. There's stress again for me because, you can't find a parking spot.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of other people roaming around. I don't enjoy Christmas shopping. Like I used to. And yes, in our family, we've started to draw names. So it makes it it's a whole lot of fun. I go out and buy one gift. And actually I may not even buy one gift. I may back up and make a gift. And again, if you've got kids, getting kids involved with making some type of gift. I think parents probably remember best the gifts that the kids have made or, the decorations they've made for the Christmas trees. Those are the traditions. Those are the things that go on the Christmas every year that you remember. Oh, this was, grade 5. This was grade 3. You remember all of that. So, are your kids creative? And even if they're not, a great painting by the kids framed is something, grandparents would probably treasure.
Yeah. Every kid is creative. So they may not be a world-class artist, but they're kids. It's going to be good stuff either way. And I think the idea of drawing names is an ideal way to do it, because if you come from a big family and there's brothers and sisters and cousins and nieces and nephews and everything, and particularly if they're older, buying 23 different presents is crazy. There's no way the recipient is going to be able to use all that stuff anyways. So, but I get it. You're getting together. It's kind of nice to get a gift. So you put all the names into the hat and you're buying a gift for one person. And there's no reason you can't set the ground rules on that too.
Yep.
Okay. The gift cannot cost any more than this number. And if you set the number really, really small, then we're going to have to be really creative. It will probably lead to gifts that are more fun than anything else.
Yep.
I mean, if I said, okay, the limit is $10, you can only spend $10 on that gift and you happen to draw your brother's name. Okay, well, $10, that's interesting. I wonder what I can get him for $10. And the answer might be you're going to knit him some funny colored socks.
Every year we have to get socks.
There you go. Okay, so socks are a done deal anyways. Maybe it is finding that DVD that from a movie that came out 30 years ago, which maybe only cost $5. But it's even better. But there was some thought that went into it, and it doesn't have to cost the huge dollars. So, and then how important then is it to have that plan going into the shopping mall?
Oh, it is, because, if you go into the malls without a plan of what you're going to buy, without that list, you will buy 2 gifts for one person. And then, oops, I have to catch up everybody else to that amount. In our family, it's all fair. Everybody gets treated the same way. So if I spend $50 on one brother, I have to spend $50 on the other brother.
I remember doing that one year. I was, 10 years old at the time or whatever. And I thought this year I'm going to get everything done early. So I went out and bought a gift for my sister and got it all wrapped and everything. And I bought it so early that I'd forgotten I bought it and ended up buying her a second one. And she ended up getting 2 gifts that year. And, you know, not having a plan, you're exactly right. You find, 3 things that one person would really like, and you end up spending the money
that
on
list, cross that name off, and then on to the next one. And actually, I think that really takes, you know, the fun out of Christmas too. You know, I'm the believer that if I'm out and about, and not always shopping, if I'm out and about and, you know, I see that perfect gift for one of my family members, get it at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And put it away. As kids, we were never allowed to look under the guest room bed because that was the hiding spot.
Yep.
And, you know, no, we were never allowed in there because yes, throughout the year, things got put in there.
Yeah.
And it was something might have been on sale at that point. So it got bought then and it got hidden.
And that's a great piece of advice. Obviously, it's a little late for this year as Christmas is fast approaching, but for next year, why not? You can pick things up in July. Now, one of the things I think that's different about the holiday season now as compared to 20 years ago is, you already alluded to it, going to the mall, trying to find the parking spot. I suspect that today more and more people aren't going to the mall. We're going to our computer, punching a few buttons, going to Amazon or wherever and buying stuff, which is great because it's hugely convenient. I don't have to stand in line and now I guess there's a couple of things you got to worry about. One of them is you can't just get the gift and have it in 10 seconds, like if you went to the mall. So there is some planning involved. If it's going to take a week to be delivered, I guess you can't order it on December the 24th.
But if you're making plans even for Christmas, you know what gift it is that you want to buy. Well, why not start now? Don't wait to the last minute again to go out and shop. Millions of studies out there. You go shopping at the last minute, you're going to spend twice as much money as you normally do.
Yeah, because you don't have a plan. In your experience, do people spend more money when they're buying online? Do you have any anecdotal evidence from the people you've helped? Because I would think going to the store and actually having to pull out my credit card, pull out the cash, well, that's real money. Whereas online, well, I click a few buttons. There was no effort involved.
Overall, cash hurts. So I suggest if back again, if you are going to be buying Christmas gifts, cash. Have your cash envelope for Christmas gifts. And that's where you take the money out of there. Because when you start getting down to, the last $20 and you still have to buy for 3 people, or you're choosing to buy for 3 people, how's that $20 going to go? And, really watching that. Debit, credit, yes, we have a tendency to spend more money, than we normally would. Doesn't hurt. And actually, I'll even use that throughout the year. I don't think just at Christmas time. I know how convenient debit cards are and credit cards. All you have to do is carry that. You don't have to carry a wallet with cash in it. But better habits, cash.
Yeah, and if you're going out and you have to buy something that costs $1,000, then carrying a bunch of $20 bills may be a little bit risky. Okay, maybe that's a good use for a debit card then, so you don't get mugged on the way to the store. And at least with a debit card, the funds have to be in your account. With a credit card, well, hey, it's open season. So what you're suggesting then is, I guess the envelope method, a very common budgeting technique where you have an envelope for each purpose. And I guess you could have an envelope for each of the 3 different people you're buying for. Mm-hmm. If you wanted to get as fancy as that. So, okay, my budget is $40 for each person. I put 2 $20 bills in each envelope. I put their name on the envelope and well, that's what I got. I can't dip into somebody's envelope to get that. I met with a lady recently who told me, and I'd never heard this, but it makes kind of sense, was she had 2 different wallets and she got paid every 2 weeks at her job. So she would take half of her money and put it in one wallet and half of the money and put it in the other wallet. And at the start of the week, one of the wallets would go in her purse, the other would stay at home. And she could spend whatever was in that wallet that week. And then the next week, she'd put the next wallet in. And I thought, well, that's kind of crazy when you think about it. But on the other hand, it was a system that worked for her. It made sense.
Oh, I like that. I may have to borrow that.
There you go. The wallet method, we can call it. But because I said to her when she started explaining this to me, I said, well, I don't like the idea of carrying cash around, because what happens when you lose your purse? You leave your purse on the bus, your purse gets stolen, then what do you do? And she said, well,
we never lose our purse.
Well, there you go. And that's what she said. It's strapped to me. But even if that did happen, well, I've only got one of my wallets in there. The next week's wallet is already at home. I don't have to worry about it. So I guess the message really is coming up with a system that works for you, planning in advance, and you should be in good shape.
One other thing I'd like to throw out, actually a coworker, they draw names. A bunch of girls get together, draw names, buy one gift. Well, not draw names. They buy one gift and they make a game out of getting that gift. There's dice involved. You roll a certain number, you get to pick a gift. You roll another certain number, you can steal from somebody and take that gift. And they're always fighting over, the $10, the $5 gift.
Yeah, so these are really inexpensive things, but the fun is getting together. So what is it? It's gift night or games night or something. So maybe there's a couple of cans of pop involved as well at this event.
Yes,
I'm
there's
guessing.
Some pop and drink.
A pop and a drink. Sounds like a good time had by all. Final point here. The holidays are expensive.
The time to plan for Christmas is in January, not in December.
Yes.
If you want to spend $1,200 at Christmas, it's a lot easier to put aside $100 a month than $600 a month for 2 months. So obviously having a plan and working in advance is a great way to do it. Heather, thanks for being with me today.
Thank you.
That was my conversation with Heather Cudmore, recorded back in 2014. My favorite phrase that Heather used today was when she said we should set our own traditions. I agree. Heather made the point that too often we try to recreate an idealized version of Christmas that we remember from when we were kids, or we try to create a perfect holiday season that our children will remember forever. That's fine, but while your children may remember a favorite gift, it's more likely that they'll remember the fun times they had playing in the snow with the family, or playing board games, or watching a favorite movie, and those activities don't cost a lot of money. So this year, consider Heather's advice and start your own traditions. Focus on family, friends, and fun, and you can't go wrong. That's our show for today. Full show notes are available at hoyes.com. That's HOYES.com. Thanks for listening. Have a great holiday season. Until next week, I'm Doug Hoyes. That was Debt Free in 30.